And we're on mute. Okay. Okay. I think we are good to go to record. So hi, I am pretty sure we have all met each other by now. I'm Dom, if we haven't. Welcome to your lunchtime Pilates hour, or whenever it is you get to this. If you have a band at home, I'm going to add it in just for an extra layer so that if you have it, you're welcome to use it. If not, no big deal. It's not going to alter your experience almost at all. It just adds an extra layer should you want it. I'd like us to start with just a little bit of mobility to kind of get that spine moving. So we're going to take our hands, interlace our hands behind our head. And now I want us to not worry about having super wide elbows. Your arms are going to be moving. So let your arms just sort of draw in. And then if you would like to, you can start to very, very gently just start to kind of press the back of the skull back, really teeny tiny. Yeah, like not a huge, huge, huge press. My spice girls are getting all jumbled up here. There we go. Little bit of a press back just to start to warm up through those neck extension muscles, the ones that when we're typing or looking at our computer kind of get elongated. So a little bit of a press there, and then keep pressing the back of the skull back. We're going to start to feel like we're opening across our collarbones, lifting that chest up a little bit, keeping the pelvis underneath us. So there's this little tiny, if I go sideways, you'll see like teeny tiny bit of extension happening here. And then we're going to go the opposite way. We're going to curl everything. Now it's like you're trying to close your collarbones across each other. A nice big stretch across the back. And so we're going to breathe in and out of those two shapes for right now. So we ever so slightly lean the head back, lift up through the chest. It's like that feeling of if you want to sort of like crack your collarbone or pop your collarbone. And then exhale, not in a like breaking bones kind of way, in a like, oh, I can breathe a bit better kind of a way. Let's do 3 more here. Inhale, a little bit of a lean back, opening up again. Don't let that pelvis and back, low back move with you. We're trying to keep them really nice and supported as a base. Scoop and draw it in. One more time. Inhale to lift up and back. And exhale, draw it in. And then we're going to bring it all the way up. We're just going to do a little bit of circulating through the torso. So keep that teeny tiny bit of pressure of the hands and the head. We're going to take a side bend over. This is my right. And then keeping, again, that base really nice and level. So the hips, the pelvis don't move. It's just the upper body on top of that. Circle around to the left. And then from the left, you're going to circle up into that little bit of a lean back extension we just found. And we're going to go nice and slowly. We're going to do 4 to each side. And if you really super focus on keeping the pelvis and the hips really, really still, you might feel how this is going to warm up through your abs as well. Circulating around, breathing as you wish, maybe sort of exploring the boundary between keeping the lower half of the body really stable and then mobilizing the upper half. This time, once you reach that upper body extension moment, and again, notice that it's not huge. We're going to go the other way. So this is now leaning over to my left. I'm really trying to focus on that space just below where I would wear a heart rate monitor. From there all the way up, as opposed to like low back. And I'm trying to explore, again, the boundaries. Whew, got a big reach on that one, of where I can move. So once you start to feel really comfortable in your movement space, maybe try to make it a bit bigger without letting the pelvis. Whew. This is such a good one for just noticing where your support of your glutes and your low abs start to kind of tap out. One more time, all the way in, and then bring it down. Now, if you have a band, it's kind of tricky because I have a yellow band and a yellow mat, but if you have a band and you would like to use it, we're going to kneel our left knee / shin on the mat, and then just let the longer half of the band sort of be on the floor. Right leg is going to go long. Left hand is going to come down to the floor. You could also put blocks there, or like a little shelf, a little chair edge, whatever you want. Inhale to reach that arm up. We're going to go for just a little bit more mobilizing. This time, exhale, we're going to curl in on ourselves and don't let your hips move again. 3 more. Inhale, big reach up. Exhale to draw it in. One more time. Inhale, nice big reach up. Exhale to draw it in. And then if you have a band, this is your opportunity to collect your band. If you have no interest on being up on your hand, you can certainly come down onto your forearm and work from here. Yeah, you're going to get the same bit of business, just less of that supporting wrist. So whether you have a band or not, we're going to pop that band into our top right arm. We're going to press our right arm up to the ceiling and then bring it down. Press it up to the ceiling and then bring it down. Press it up. You can always come onto a fist here. You can, again, come onto blocks or hold onto a chair or come all the way down onto your forearm and work from here, yeah? These are all really super great options. Or maybe you don't have a band and you're reaching that arm up, yeah? Moving on, adding some extra spicy peanut butter to this. That top leg is going to lift as your arm lifts. It lifts up and down, lift it up. So I'm gonna sort of revolve through different variations of this. You can kind of see how they all exist. You could always ditch that bottom arm completely and then lift up. And so notice if I have a band that I'm still keeping it underneath that left leg. If you don't have a band, you're bending in and pressing up, but that top leg is lifting with you, yeah? And then the other version was this one up here. And so as we're lifting that leg, it can get kind of exciting where it lifts all the way up in space. And when we kind of go all the way up, we start to sort of lose the really fun side glute moment of this. So I'm going to ask that we keep it really, really long. Maybe your gaze looks down to the floor. Maybe it's forward. Maybe it's up. We're going for 3. We're going for 2. Last one, hold the leg, but ditch the arm. We're gonna bend that top leg in. So it's like it's trying to come in, but it's not gonna go all the way because funky things would have to happen. And then we're gonna kick it out. Bring it in, kick it out. So you do kind of like a fire hydrant moment. Yeah, if we just did this half, right? That would be the fire hydrant, but we're gonna add that kick of the leg. Bring it in, kick it out. Now I'm gonna let you know that this is gonna get really spicy really quickly. If it's not already, bring it in, up and out. Bring it in, up and out. Keep going, bring it in. You could again be here and out. Bring it in and out, or you could be on that arm, up and out. Yeah, it's just gonna look a little bit different, but you're doing the same thing regardless. We're gonna go for 3, for 2. Now I'll show you this next one. We're gonna start the same pull in. We're gonna carefully lower down so that we're sitting on our hip. Now without pressing the arm into the floor, I mean, it's gonna happen, but think more about that side bottom bum cheek. It lifts you up and out. We're gonna take our time, take our time, take our time. Think bottom glute lifts, and that kicks you out. Now this top arm can be wherever you need it to be, yeah? If you kind of like this extra little spring through that top arm, you can go there. If you would prefer to keep it onto your hip, you can keep going. If you're staying down, you can still continue, right, with this in and out version. Yeah. You could also still be on that forearm. You could still be lying down. Yeah. So different versions of that. I'm hoping if you're doing the full version of this, you're feeling kind of like a Charlie's Angel, bringing in, up and out. 2 more. Slow, 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 slow. Lift up and out. There is a grand finale here. Last one. Up and out and then pause. Let's pull that leg in. So it's in that little bit of like if you had a ball behind your knee, little hamstring curl. We're going to circle it for 10, for 9, for 8. We're getting toasty. 7. You've got it. 6, 5, 4, 3. We wasted no time there. 2, 1, go the other way, 10, 9, up and around, 8, thinking right into that side of the hip, for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, last one, bring it in, nice job, shake it out, maybe give those wrists a little figure 8, that really sort of went from 0 to 100 real quick, eh? Okay. Second side, let's rock it. So I'm going to be down on my right knee this time. Let's set that band up. So I like to do it so that the tail of it is sort of facing out from my shape and then the long end is facing in. Left leg is going to go long, right hand is going to come to the floor or a block or a fist or a counter, really, truly, whatever you want, because we're just going to rotate here. Breathe in, exhale around. Oh, this side is always so much more awkward for me. And exhale around and in. Giving a really nice opening through the chest and then a scooping in and underneath you. Let's go for 2. This is our chance to, again, feel a little bit of opening through the collarbones. Lift it up. One more time. In. Reach it up. And then if you need to rearrange, go for it. We're going to collect that band again. Starting with the arm is going to press up and then lower. Press up and then lower. Press and down. Press. So if you don't have the band, remember you're reaching up just with that arm. At any time, you can always come down onto your forearm on that right side, still working up with that band. And you could always come down onto your full arm completely, pressing it up and down, or you could have no band at all. Yeah, so all those options are still fully existing for you, and side to side might require something different. Yeah, I will say if you banded on the first side to band on the second side, but as far as where your placement is, that's up to you. When you're ready, that top leg is going to lift up and down. It's like right away, as soon as we add that leg, that shoulder, so much more work to do. Yeah, down, lift it up. Now your gaze can be forward, your gaze could be down to the floor. If it feels beneficial, it could be up towards the ceiling. I love a good look down to the floor. Oh my God, my shoulder is already so toasty. Tamales, toasty potatoes, lift. Now remember, it could be really exciting to kind of just flail that leg up in space. We want to think more out. So the maximum it'll reach is like maybe a smidgen above hip height, but that's like 100% maximum. Let's go for 5 with that arm. For 4, for 3, it's happening, team, yes. For 2, last one, we're gonna ditch the band. That top leg is gonna come in and then press out. No bottom leg yet. And press out. In and out. So again, this is the one that without the extension of the leg would be like more of a fire hydrant, but we're adding that, bringing in Karate Kid moment. Again, you can do this from your forearm if you would prefer. And in and out. It also would look down on your arm like this. It's more of like a slide in and slide out. Yeah. And out. Lots of options here for you to choose your own adventure of what feels good. Let's go for 3. For 2, that top bum is feeling all kinds of delicious. Last one. Okay, slow down this first round. We pull in, we lower to sit on that bottom hip. We're going to squeeze the bottom glutes to lift us up and press us out. We draw in, lower down, press and lift. So although my right hand is on the floor, it has to be because I'm going sideways and I'm not entirely sure my abdominals anyway are strong enough to support me just sort of floating in space. I just want to make sure we're not heaving ourselves off, yeah? You could totally add like a little tricep moment there, which we're not going to do today, but maybe we'll do next week. But we're not doing that, yeah? We're thinking about the effort of that bottom glute to lift you up. And if you're operating today from a place where this isn't going to be accessible, we've done 2 other versions, right? You can always pick and play with those. Bring it in nice and slow. I'm hoping you're feeling your buns of steel because I'm certainly feeling mine. Down, lift up and out. We're going to go for 3. I definitely I don't actually know what this is called. I was also calling it an accordion earlier this week, but I do feel like a Charlie's Angel. Last one, we're going to lift. We're going to hold. Let's bend that knee in like we're doing a hamstring curl here. Little circles for 8. For 7, for 6, I'm going to look down just to support my neck. For 3, for 2, oh, that bottom glute is also fiery. 8, 7, although I think we did 10, 6, so we'll throw 2 on at the end. 5, 4, 3, up and around. 2, up and around. Let's do 2 little bonuses here. And nice, bring it in. Again, give those wrists a little shake, give them a little zhuzheroos, some figure eights, whatever's gonna feel good. And if your neck needs just a little bit of releasing out, it's always when I wear a ponytail. If I'm in braids or like low buns, I'm fine, but the weight of the ponytail, cray cray. Okay, if you have a band, you're going to have the option of lying down, and the band is going to hit the lowest ribs that you can, feeling stable. If you don't have a band, again, don't worry about it. Just kind of want to add these things in if you have them at home. And I know it's tricky because I have a yellow matte yellow band. It's my, I need to pick something that I don't have in clothing or band colors, like a green or something would be good. Okay, so if you have a band and you're lying down, we want to make sure that you're as even as possible from side to side. And now a little bit different than how we usually work extension together. We're going to keep our foreheads down. Usually we end up lifting up. I want us to keep them down. So in anticipation of that, if you have a blanket or a pillow, just something light that you want to pop under your forehead to make things a little comfier, please feel free to go for it. So we're going to come all the way down. Now, that being said, I still want you to be able to hear me. So I am going to stay up a little bit. Yeah. We're going to collect our bands in our hands and go for like what you're pretty sure won't be a ton of tension, because I want you to feel what's going to happen. So the band is at the bottom-ish of our ribs, but that doesn't mean we're going to press down. Yeah. Legs are up to you. They can be more parallel. They can be more turned out. The wider you go, the more support you'll have for your back. So know that you have options there. We're going to zip up through the thighs and glutes, and we're going to scoop towards our pubic bone. So we're still trying to elongate through that low back. And then even though our body weight is keeping this band down, I really mean it. I don't want us to be pressing into the floor. I'd like us to still feel a little bit of ab support there. And then forehead will be down on the mat, but I'm going to keep mine up a little bit so you can hear me. So remember, you're nice and loose on your tension, or if you don't have a band, you're just sort of hanging out with those arms. Together, we're going to start to slide the shoulder blades so that they're just a little wider through the collarbones. Yeah, they're not pressing forward. They're not pinching on our back. They're just sort of settled. And then we're going to lift our arms up to float. Now, remember, your forehead is down. Mine is up so you can hear me. Light tension if you have a band. You're just going to extend those arms forward and then pull them in. And I want you to play, if you're a band person, with what tension feels reasonable, as well as just getting used to the fact that as you draw on the band, you're going to feel something happening underneath you. So if it feels like absolutely not, no way, it doesn't feel welcoming, then don't do it, right? Like you're going to get lots out of this by extending those arms long. The band is just a bonus. Exhale to reach. And then the longer you're here, right, maybe we can start to play with adding more tension. Bring it in. Exhale to press. Bring it in. Exhale to press. And as those arms reach overhead, whether you're a band person or not, we want to keep moving. Our shoulder blades upwardly rotate, right? So as your arms reach overhead, don't try to keep your shoulder blades on your back, right? Let's let the arms move. And then we can pull them in, and then we can reach overhead. I'm hoping it's starting to feel a little spicy potatoes here for you. Let's go for 3, for 2. One more time, you're gonna reach it out, and you're gonna do a little flutter, up, down, up, down. If you don't have a band, up, down. 8, 7, and I'm hoping 6, this goes right into your mid-back. Soften the tops of your shoulders. 3, reach from underneath your arm. 2, 1, bend it in, lower down, take a break. And I'm hoping you were like, ooh, mid-back, it's happening, yeah? Drop your band, turn one cheek to the mat, breathing in and breathing out. Now we're definitely still going to work bringing our head up into a bit of extension through the neck, just not yet, yeah? All right, we're gonna start with that right arm. So your left arm can kind of be wherever you want it to be. It could be beside you. If you have a band, it could be on the band. Like, please feel free to freestyle where that left arm is going to go so you feel supported. If you have a band, you're holding on with the right arm. If you don't have a band, we're all just going to meet with that arm right beside us, yeah? Legs are still up to you. They can be turned out. They can be parallel. I don't super duper mind. Scooping towards the pubic bone. Zipping up through the thighs long from head to tail. We're going to take a breath in here, and then as we breathe out, this time, keep your forehead down, but we're going to reach the arm out on a diagonal like you're doing the YMCA. Bend the arm to pop it back in. It stays hovered, and then exhale to reach. and bend it in. So again, your forehead is going to stay down the whole time. Mine is going to come up a little bit just so I can make sure you can hear me. Reach it out. Slide it in. Reach it out. Slide it in. We're going to go for 3 here. So this is not bicep to earlobe. It's not opening the arm out beside you. It's up on a diagonal. Let's go for 2. One more time. We're going to reach that arm out and we're going to hold it out in that diagonal. Let's flip the thumb to face up. Let's lower pinky finger edge to the floor. Let's lift with the thumb. Flip the palm to face down. Pull the arm back in. We're going to do that again. Don't worry. And I'll do it without the band this time. You're going to reach the arm out, YMCA. Rotate thumb up to the ceiling. Lower pinky finger edge down. Lift up from underneath the thumb. Rotate palm to the floor. Bend the arm in, but it stays hovered, yeah? So as you're working here, as you're reaching the arm out, rotating thumb up, lower down, lift up, keep moving. We want to sort of channel all the way down the outside of our arm, outside of our waist, underneath our shoulder blade, lifting up, as opposed to the top stuff, yeah? We want to think about that posterior part of our delt a little bit more. We want to think about down into our external rotators of our shoulder blade, yeah, of our shoulder girdle, of our humerus. So stuff that's kind of a little bit deeper and more back, more posterior. Up, flip the palm, pull it in. We're going for 2. I'm hoping by now, like even if you're a band person, you're sort of thinking about ditching the band. Lift, palm down, bring it in. One more time. I have a fist under my forehead so that you can hear me. Yeah, down and lift. Just the top down for 5. Lift it out and up. For 4, lift it up. Keep those bottom parts of your body active. For 3, keep drawing the rib cage in. For 2, lift it out and up. One more time. Lift that arm up, rotate, bring it in, take a little break. Nice job. If you'd like to press back in towards like a shell stretch or child's pose type shape, feel free to go there. Breathing it in, hand out, taking a little break. So good for the mid back. I'm going to turn myself on a little bit of a diagonal here so that you'll be able to see my left arm, I'm hoping, kind of reaching out in space. And then we will slide the band again under rib cage, right? If that's where you're operating. Right hand is again totally up to you. It can be beside you. You can have the opposite end of the band like pressing on it if that feels like a happy place. I'm going to put a fist under my forehead just so that I don't have to worry about holding myself up and talking all at the same time. But you can be wherever. And then legs are totally up to you, right? You could be parallel. You could be more open, wherever's going to offer you the most support for your pelvis and back. That left hand is going to collect your band. All together, we're going to bring our shoulder blades towards each other, but not squeezing. Think wide collarbones. And then let's lift that left arm up. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, reach the left arm out on a diagonal. Inhale to pull it in. Exhale to reach. Inhale to draw it in. Exhale to reach. And so here's where you play, right? If it feels really, really good to use the band and maybe you have the opportunity to play with tension, go for it. If you don't have a band and you're operating with arm weight and gravity, that's still fantastic. Exhale to reach and bring it in. Exhale to reach, because it's still keep going. A lot of load on that arm to have to extend it out. And with our forehead down, it just orients us so that there's potentially the experience of a little more lift through the arms without having to engage as much through your mid-back extensors. We get to really, really focus on what's happening through the shoulder girdle. And then we'll add the mid-back to that after, yeah? So that's why we're doing it that way. You got it. I'm hoping it's starting to get, oops, sorry. We reach out, rotate, pinky finger tap, lift, palm down, and bring it in. Those first few were mostly just to find the right tension. Reach it out, pinky finger, lower down, lift it up, palm down, bend in. Yeah, nice and slow and calm. rotate, tap it down, lift it up, palm down, bring it in. Keep going there, yeah? So as you're doing that, extend, rotate, thumb up, tap down to the floor, lift it up, palm down, bring it in. Notice where the tension is coming from. And if it's coming from like tops of the shoulders, can you, with your own mind body awareness, start to soften that out a little bit? And can you get it more into the deep depth of the shoulder? And you're still moving. I'm just like chatting so you can hear me. We want to think more about what's happening deep, deep, deep on the inside, down the side of the shoulder, reaching that arm out, rotate palm down, lift it up, yeah? So there's this like really, really nice accessibility to the movement in the arm. Rotate and reach. You got it here, team. Let's go for 2. Thumb up, lower down, lift it up, palm down, bring it in. One more time, reach it out, thumb up, lower down, and lift. Let's just go for those taps, down and lift. Tap it down and lift. Tap it down and lift. Let's go for 2. Spicy potatoes. Last one. Lift it up, bring that arm in. So good. If you want to give yourself a little shake, shake, shake here with your arms, a little movement through those shoulders, please, please, please feel free to do that. We're going to give the arms a little bit of a break before we come back to them. So wherever you are, if you're on your back, you can maybe just flip over, or on your belly, sorry, flip over onto your back so that we come all the way down, and you can leave your band off to the side here. So we're going to start with a little bit of mobility, and then it's going to come into more of like a hip hinge situation. So arms can stay down, or you can have pinky finger edge to the floor. You could do palms up. You could do arms up to the ceiling. We're going to feel our feet pressing into the floor, and we're just going to sort of rock and roll with our pelvis here. So letting if you had a cup of tea on your pelvis, you're going to pour that cup of tea south towards your feet. And then we'll go the opposite way. Pour that cup of tea in towards your belly button. Pour your cup of tea south towards your feet. Pour the cup of tea towards your belly button. Working it out here. And exhaling it in. Sending it away. And scooping to draw it in. We're going for 2 here. One more time. Scoop it in. And then let it settle at home base. So where the pubic bone and the hip bones are nice and level. Take a breath in to be here. And as you breathe out, scoop through that belly. Press your feet into the floor. Fire your glutes. And one vertebrae at a time, roll yourself up into a bit of a bridge here. And so as you lift, can you think about bringing that power of the glutes with you? And as much as we're not like expanding through our rib cage, I want you to still think about that experience of opening across your collarbones if you can. Take a breath in here, and then one vertebrae at a time. So starting with the furthest up your spine, and then really articulating all the way back down, releasing through that pelvis. If you like this, please breathe in. As we breathe out, scooping through that low belly, pressing our feet to the floor, drawing our heels to glutes, lengthening and reaching out through the front of the thighs. We lift up through the front of the body. Take a breath in here. As we breathe out, scoop, tuck, and roll, massage that spine all the way back down to the floor, releasing it out. 2 more times, breathe in. As we breathe out, scooping through the low belly, pressing the feet down, firing through the glutes, drawing the heels in, reaching out as we lift, 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 massage, 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 massage. Take a breath in. Exhale, one vertebrae at a time, articulating to the floor. Last one, breathe in. Just a really nice way to kind of massage the spine, right? And still feel like we're opening through the chest a little bit. Okay, this is where we're going to change it up. So we're going to crease at our hip. We're going to try to keep our body in one long line. We're going to lower down to tap, and then we're going to lift. Lower down to tap, and then lift. Tap, and then lift. Now I'm going to keep my arms down for this. You're always welcome to lift them up. But what keeping my arms down is going to help me figure out is if my chest wants to curl in, and can I keep it really nice and calm? You could always do like bended elbows, right? I've also noticed recently that I like to cheat and sort of like squish my shoulder blades underneath me. And let's go for 3, for 2. Last one, we're going to lift up and then pause. Now from here, keeping wide across the collarbones, firing through the glutes, keeping those legs nice and parallel. Can we super, super, super press into the left leg, maybe peel up to the right toes, maybe lift that right leg to a tabletop without the pelvis shifting. And then lower those right toes down to the floor. Other side, focus on that pelvis. Roll up to your left toes. Super press your right foot into the floor. Maybe lift that left leg up, again, without the pelvis shifting. And then lower it down, breathe in. As we breathe out, roll up to those toes, lift the right leg. Don't let those hips shift and shimmy, yeah? Take so much concentration. Press into the right, roll up to the left toes, lift those. And we're super duper firing through our glutes here as best as we can. If you want to bring this shape a little bit lower, so you're in more of a hover with the pelvis, if that feels more sustainable and reasonable through your low back and hips, go for it. If it feels reasonable to be a bit higher up, that's where we're going to go. One more time to the left. And then back to those pulses. Stick your bum out, lower down. Exhale to lift. Lower down, tap. Exhale to lift. Lower down, tap. Exhale to lift. Down, tap, and lift. We're going for 3, for 2, for 1. Lift, let's go again. Press into those feet. Let's this time roll up to the left toes and hover them up off the floor. Roll and pop them down. Keep staying connected to that pelvis. Roll up through those right toes. Lift your right leg up. Lower the right leg down. Roll up through the left toes. Lift them up. Lower them down. You got it. And remember, you could be in more of a hover here if you would prefer. Articulate through those toes. Left leg lifts. Pop it down. Right leg lifts. Roll it down to the left. Keep that underside of your body super, super active here. One more time. Lifting up to the right. Popping it down to the left. Popping it down. You've got it. From here, can we walk our feet a little bit wider now? So we're in that bridge still, but we've opened those thighs out. So feet are maybe towards the edges of your mat, but they're turned out here. We're going to let those thighs draw in towards each other, but they might not touch. And then squeeze into the glutes to open. And again, you could be a little bit lower down, yeah? If this feels like a happier place for your back, go for it. If being upright feels happy here, go for it. We let the internal stay active, yeah? So you're still feeling the work of the glutes the whole entire time that you're here. Bring it in, open it up. Bring it in, open it up. We're going for 3. We're going for 2. One more time. Now keep the thighs open. Lower down to tap. Exhale, lift. Tap and lift. Keep those knees opening out over the midline of the toes. Down and up. Down and up. For 3. For 2. For 1. Lift it up again. Draw those thighs in. And then press them wide. Keep your pinky toe side of your foot engaged to the floor the entire time you're working here. Please draw them in. Open them wide. Let's go for 4, for 3, squeeze and open, 2, squeeze and open. Last set of pulses, here we go. Tap down and lift, tap down and lift. For 6, for 5, for 4. Are you feeling those buns? 3, I certainly am. For 2, last one, lift, 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 and roll all the way down. Heel, toe, those legs back in. And maybe give yourself a little rock side to side. Hopefully your back's feeling okay. Yeah, hopefully you picked a variation that felt reasonable. We're gonna stay on our backs here. We're gonna start to get into our abs just a little bit more. I'd like us to please place our hands so that heels of your hands are on your hip bones, fingertips are on your pubic bone, and you can always slide something behind your head here if you'd like to. And make sure you have space in front of your legs. Yeah. So if this doesn't feel good, having your hands on your pelvis like this, if you can feel for where your ASIS, your hip bones might be, and place a finger there and then maybe place a thumb towards your rib cage, right? Like again, depending on your structure, that might not feel reasonable. So pick something that feels reasonable just to kind of stay aware of the relationship of our pelvis. We're going to take a nice breath in through the nose into the backs and sides of the ribs. And exhale it out through the mouth. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale, nice big breath in. And I'm going to turn around actually because my microphone is over here. So I want you to be able to hear me. And exhale it out. One more time. Inhale in. And exhale out. Okay, so like for me, my pelvis likes to live a little bit more imprinty. So I'm just gonna ever so slightly press my tailbone a little bit heavier into the floor. Taking a breath in, let's lift those left toes up. This is gonna be very subtle, yeah? As you breathe out, let's slide the left leg away. And as you slide away, notice if you get really heavy into that left hip, if your pelvis, if that relationship, right, hip bone to hip bone across your rib cage, if that changes, those are all indicators that our abs need to work a little bit harder. And then bring it in, or not harder, maybe smarter is a better word. Take a breath in. Maybe you need to connect elbows to the floor as you breathe out. Almost like they're kind of like act as training wheels to keep you balanced. Breathe in. And then breathe out, slide the leg back in. Always to the left, breathe in. As you breathe out, let's press it away. Inhale here, you're trying to keep that pelvis nice and still. Exhale to draw that leg in. 2 more, breathe in. Exhale, slide away. And if you are using your elbows as training wheels, notice how much they're pressing into the floor. Breathe in, breathe out, draw it in. One more time, breathe in. Breathe out, slide that leg away. Inhale here. And exhale to draw the leg back in. Let's go the other way this time. Right toes lift. Again, keeping that pelvis nice and balanced. Inhale here. As you breathe out, slide the right leg away from you. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, slide it in. Inhale here. Exhale to reach. Inhaling through the nose. Exhale through your mouth. Although if it's allergy season for you and breathing is an issue, breathe how you need to breathe. Yeah, 2 more here, breathe in. So we're just sort of setting the foundation of the deep stuff that's going to work. Yeah, all we're doing right now seemingly is sliding the leg, but internally we have lots of stabilizing happening. One more time, breathe in. As you breathe out, slide that leg away. And then let's pull that leg in and pop it down. We're going to change our pelvic placement now. So if you had your hands, heels of your hands, hip bones, fingertip, pubic bone, or if you like the image of a cup of tea, we're going to take a breath in to be here. And then as we breathe out, we're going to scoop and pour that cup of tea in towards our belly button. So our low back starts to connect down to the floor. Yeah. And then as you're here, you can kind of put a hand on your belly and notice if you're really bunching up, if you're really, I'm trying to be like a drama queen about this right now, as if you're pressing up to the ceiling, we actually want it down and wide without then lifting our ribs up, right? So there's all this nuancing to sliding down and then opening wide because we don't want to put extra pressure through our linea alba. Okay, from here, we're going to do some little marches. You're going to take a breath in. And as you breathe out, let's lift that right leg. Inhale to put the right leg down. Exhale, left leg. And so that same idea of hip bones staying level and still applies here. And if you're feeling a little bit like, Dom, this is pretty foundational. Why are we spending so much time with this? It's because this ab series we're going to do after this is going to require a lot of stability. And so I want to make sure this is all warmed up for us. Exhale to lift. Inhale down. Scooping into that low belly. Keeping that engagement going. Feeling that nice connection of the lower vertebrae, and they might not actually touch, right? Like those lower vertebrae live in more of an extended place. So to try to get them into flexion is like a whole other thing. But it's really just the recruitment, right? The act of trying how that turns muscles on. One more time, lift. Keep this leg lifted, maybe lift your arms, scooping through that belly, lift your second leg with you. And I just want you to kind of exist here for a second. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, can you really scoop, scoop, scoop? No arms, just the work out of your belly. Maybe your feet are flexed, maybe they're pointed, maybe you're in a full table, maybe then the shins are dropped. We're here for 5, 4, 3, for 2, for 1, and then lower your left leg, collect the back of your right leg, and can you swing yourself up? Nice job. Okay, from here, so this is where it's going to start to get a little fancy pants. So if you're sort of like, it's not working for me, please feel free to revisit what we just did. You're going to do it again. It's going to feel fabulous, or you can kind of play with this. Yeah. So we're going to start upright. We're going to take the left arm, lift it up and around, and then place that left hand behind us, fingertips pointing south towards your glutes. And then same with the right leg, up, around, and back, pointing in. And we're going to try right now to lift as much as we can. And then we're going to go for a little bit of a tricep press, but don't be too speedy with it, because we're going to add a layer, yeah? So what I want us to do is start with like a little bit of a half bend and then press. And just sort of see how that feels, how that's feeling in your chest, right? If you feel like you're really, really fighting to feel open through those collarbones, which because we did all of this back arm reachy rotating stuff, I'm hoping it feels okay. I mean, you're internally rotated with your arms now, not externally, but we did work into opening through the chest. Now, if you want to try spicing it up, you might have to shift your hands a little bit so that you lower all the way down to the elbows. And as you do that, you're going to scoop into that imprint, and then you're going to keep scooping into your imprint, press into your hands. Oh, this is so hard. To come all the way back up, yeah? And if you're going to do this fuller version, you're probably going to have to shift your hands so that they're not in the same place as if you were doing a little half bend. Now, a lot of work is going to be required from that scoopy belly so that you don't crash to the floor, yeah? Because I don't want you to smash and bruise your elbows. So think about that active scooping your abs. Scoop, 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 scoop. And if this is going well, maybe as you scoop, you want to bring your legs to a table and do the whole thing from here, yeah? Scoop, scoop, scoop. Press it up. We've got 5 more here, team. Now, I have pretty short arms, so I can press to an almost straight arm, but you certainly don't have to. For 4, for 3, keep focusing on that scoopy belly. It's so important. For 2, and again, if there's a different version of this that you would prefer to do, go for it. Last full one here, all the way up. And then we're all going to meet scoop, 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 scoop down on our forearms. If being scooped and being on your forearms is not an option, you can always come down into our regular ab curl. You could be neutral, right? You have a little more options. If you're still holding where you are, I'm going to meet you back in that really super fun scoopy back position. And we're going to take our legs. We're going to reach our right leg long. Pull the right leg in, left leg goes long. And as you're doing this, we're not collapsing into those shoulders, right? We've already warmed them up. We're pressing away. We know what it feels like to work that imprint. And so as we extend a leg away, we're trying to think even more scoopy, yeah? As that leg reaches, you're trying to lift higher out the crown of your head, reach longer through the front of the thigh, scoop deeper into that low belly. Exhale, reach. And in, reach away. And in. That quad is super, super zippy as you extend and reach. Good work here, team. If this is going well, you're going to reach 2 legs to straight, 2 legs table, 2 legs to straight, 2 legs table. Reach it out. We're going to keep going with endurance here, yeah? And in. Scoop. You're working through that hollow belly. If this is going well with these legs, I'm going to just turn on a bit of a diagonal. Instead of passing through table, those arms, imagine you're like in a big comfy couch. The legs are going to circle around each other up towards the ceiling. Circle around each other and keep going. Circle around. You're up on those forearms. Circle. I want us to super duper duper focus right now on lifting up through the chest, on scooping through that belly, on reaching through those legs. They're trying to stay as parallel as possible here. Remember, there are different versions of this. You could be neutral. You could be on your back. You could be doing that single leg extension still, yeah? Keep focusing on that low belly. If you're feeling a little hip flexory, you could always get kind of funky with your leg placement or go back to those single legs, yeah? We're doing one more in each direction. And then can you bend the legs in? You're gonna lower down, but we're not gonna take a break. You're just gonna lower through the scoop into your ab curl. Hands behind the head. We're gonna, again, go back to those single leg extensions. And in, single leg extension. But this time, maybe add an oblique twist. And in, oblique twist. Now, I'm gonna be, full disclosure, I'm probably gonna have to take a break at some point, talking and doing this. Whew, so much work. But maybe you don't have to, yeah? If this is going well, explore the double leg stretch. This is actually in like classical Pilates, not what the double leg stretch is, but you're stretching both of your legs, yeah? Hand in. If you feel happy adding a reach of an arm, if that adds some bonus work for you, go for it. But remember, ultimately, the foundation of this is that scoopy pelvis and those hips are not moving. Now you know where I'm going with this, right? If this is going well, I'm gonna just scoot on a diagonal. You can do those big comfy couch legs, yeah? Where we reach up. We circle, 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 and you'll twist towards the top leg. Out and around through center. Up and around to the right. This is so much work. Oh, who knew Pilates could be so exciting? I did. You did. That's why we're all doing it. Keep scooping through that low belly. Holy potatoes. To the left. To the right. Can we do one more to the left? One more to the right. Anyone else on fire? Bend the knees in. Lower down. Whoa. No pulse is necessary for that kind of spice factor, yeah? Let's keep our heads down. Let's walk our feet wide and let's just do a little windshield wipering here. Super fun, eh? That's one of my new favorite series to play with. That and the side leg one I've been doing all kinds of wild and crazy things with recently. All right, let's just let our body be long for a second after all that curling in. And let's take a nice big stretch, 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 stretch through the toes, through the belly, and then breathing it out, yeah? We're gonna press into a foot, roll over onto one side, bring yourself up. Oh, so much, right? And then we're gonna come back onto hands and knees. So we're going to finish with some arms. There's again gonna be sort of like a fun variation to this for you to try if you want to. And it's gonna require some length through the hamstrings. So in anticipation of that, can we come onto hands and knees? Whew, feel that work pressing. Anyone else's abs still like ding, 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 ding? Let's take that right leg back and we're just gonna kind of knead out through the ankle, pressing back through the heel. Whew, hot potatoes, Pilates abs. Press it back. Nice job. And then let's switch sides, right leg in, left leg back, a little bit of pressing here. So as always, arm work is completely up to you. You could be against a wall is a great option, and I often do that in my own practice. You could be against a kitchen counter or your desk, as long as your desk isn't going to fly away from you, yeah? Or you could be on the floor. So the first version of this, knees are going to be underneath our hips, hands are going to be underneath our arms, but let's ever so slightly pivot those fingers to face in. Now you could be like I am, kneeling with your knees underneath your hips, or you could be in a kneeling plank, glutes on, oh, abs on fire. But definitely don't be in a full plank here, yeah? Nice and slowly, we're gonna lower 3, 2, 1, strong push up, down for 3, 2, 1. Now this is where that neck stuff becomes important, yeah? Because we're not looking down between our thighs here. If anything, you want a focal point sort of in front of you, to 1, so you are working the strength through the back of your neck here, yeah? And up, one more time, 3, 2, 1, press up. You're going to spin those fingers back to parallel. We're going to tuck our toes. We're going to lift our hips up and back. So downward dog if you're a yogi practitioner. If not, just think sort of like a big triangle with the body. Bit of housekeeping, because I'm pretty sure we've never done downward dog together before, is if you have the mobility and range to super press through your arms, this is not where we want to be. We want to think long through the tail. We want to think plank through the torso, maybe bend the knees if you want to. Plus, knowing that our primary focus here is going to be working through the arms, yeah? So that's where the downward dog is going to be. Now, just very mindfully, spin those fingers back in. So this time, you're thinking one long line, out through the tail, then through the crown of the head. 3, 2, 1, strong push-ups. So they're sort of like overhead push-ups, yeah? Press up. Options here, you kind of can't really modify unless you were pushing something up overhead or unless you were doing like a handstand on the wall. So if you're happy being in that first variation, you're going to be in that first variation. If you're a downward dog person, bring yourself all the way down. So the way we're going to finish here is we're going to do 6 from your knees and then 6 up in a downward dog or whatever variation you want. And then that is our grand finale. We'll do just a little bit more opening and then we're done's. So round 1 of 6 can be on your knees, on a kneeling plank, at the wall, all those things. Ever so slightly spindle those fingers in, but still think a bit wide and open through those collarbones. Here we go, team. Long through the crown of the head, focal point slightly forward. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Strong push. Down. 2, 3. That's 5. I'm counting down from 6. That's 4. Down. 2 elbows are on a diagonal. That's 3. You are lowering, calm. That's 2. One more time. 2, 1. Press up, lift those hips up and back if that's where you'd like to go. Ribs are in. Let's lower for 3, 2, 1. That's 1. Down for 2, 2, 1. That's 2. My shoulders are going to need me to come down, but you work with the option that's working for you. Yeah. 2, 1. That's 3. We're counting back up. 2, 6. That's 4. Down. 2, 1. That's 5. One more time here. That's 6. Whichever version you're in, bring yourself all the way down. Let's shake out through those wrists. Kind of fun, eh? If you could do, I have some shoulder stuff, so being in shoulder flexion like that isn't going to work for me, but I wanted to offer it to you because it's kind of fun to play with. Let's interlace those fingers and just go for a little figure eighting, a little massaging out through those wrists. Shaking, shaking, shaking. So however you're happy arriving in space, you could be seated on your heels, sitting cross-legged, you could be up on a chair, whichever you want to be at. I really don't mind. We're going to inhale to reach the arms up. And then let's lower the left hand down. Let's take a side bend over to the left. Breathing in and out. Let's bend into that left elbow. Spring ourselves all the way back up, 2 arms up overhead. And then right arm will come down, side bend over. Sometimes the screen flips me, sometimes it doesn't. So I've sort of given up on staying a direction, but then being in the opposite, it just gets so confusing. So this is my right, and I'm not sure what it'll look like for you. Bend into that right elbow, spring and bring yourself all the way back up. Interlace those fingers. Press your palms up to the ceiling and just give yourself a little wiggle here. Lifting up through that right rib cage, through the left, maybe circling a little bit if that feels reasonable for you here. And then when you're ready, shake out those arms, bringing them all the way down. Let's pop onto our backs, onto our bums, sorry. Right ankle can come over the left knee, and you're welcome to, again, any variation of this works for me. So if you want to come up to standing, you can. If you want to be on your back, you can. Giving just a little teeter-totter through that hip, through those glutes, which we worked so hard today. You also worked through your arms, through your mid-back, through your rotator cuff, through your neck extensor muscles, through your abs, through your obliques, your deep stabilizer abs, and then your rectus abdominis. Unravel that right leg, left ankle crosses. You worked through your hamstrings. You worked through your quads because they were active through a lot of that ab work, or hopefully all of that ab work, plus being on the floor. So Lots of amazing work to strengthen, to lengthen, to mobilize. Rock in and out through that left hip. Bring it in, and then if we are happy to do so, we're just gonna flip back over onto hands and knees. And then if we can take our right wrist, flip our right palm up towards the ceiling, and you might sort of need to adjust where your knee placement is. And we're just ever so slightly, you can tuck your toes, are not gonna peel back. And as you peel back, the back of the wrist might lift off of the floor. And then shift it forward. But know that the bulk of your weight right now is on that left hand. You could also do this kneeling. Yeah, you just sort of massage through that wrist, or standing or seated. Yeah, you don't have to look like this. And then bring it down. And then really gently, again, the bulk of the weight is across, I would say like 90% of your weight, maybe even 95, is distributed across your knees and your left hand. And then there's like 5% little baby bit on that wrist. And then let's take it the other way, around to the right. Little circles here. And shake that wrist out. Let's go the other way. So your left palm will face up towards you. Again, 95% tension on your knees and hands. It can peel up. I guess that's not very helpful. I'll go this way. Back. Now forward. Back. Just a little teeter-totter. Catch your breath. Stretch out through. This is actually wrist flexion here. And when they are back in like typing position, that's actually extension. And little circles around. Sort of celebrating all the work that our body has done for us, not just today, but even through the day, right? Like I'm studying some biology stuff right now, go the other way. And I'm studying like cellular, like on a cellular level, how our cells replicate our DNA and transcribe our DNA, and just like how much goes into cellular respiration. And I'm honestly blown away, like just how much happens in our bodies that are so syncretic and just happen that we don't even notice it. And it's just so fling and cool. Give those wrists a little shake from hands and knees. Tuck your toes. It's gonna be kind of unusual. We're gonna walk our hands back towards our knees so that we can roll over our feet. You end up in kind of a crouchy place, and then bend forward into whatever version of a forward fold will work for you. Maybe you wanna walk those feet a little bit wider. Bend into the knees, press your feet into the floor. Gently roll your spine all the way up to standing. Inhale to give those arms a nice big reach up overhead. Exhale down to give yourself a squeeze. Thank you so much for all of your amazing hard work today. You are all done. And every day. Work hard every day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It was so good to see you.